So I am cutting these up. I have so many of these scraps that I've cut off that I don't have a use for. So basically, when it comes to firewood, I have way too much pine. Pine's not a great firewood. You want a hardwood. Get my glasses on. Okay, whatever. Pine is not a good firewood. It pops, it burns fast because it's a light wood, not by color, obviously by weight, but it's good for starting fires. So I do usually burn up. I have so much scraps that I usually bring when I go camping. It's good for starting fires, so I'm gonna cut a lot of these up, throw it in my wood box. We used all of it when we went to Heartwood Pines, so I'll throw some of this in there, and I throw other stuff for a trip I have in August, for a trip I have in August. We'll burn some of that up. Good morning, YouTube. How you guys doing this fine day? Hopefully good. This is a continuation of the last vlog. I was working on that box. I'm still working on it. I was watching some of my older vlogs, which are pretty cringy, but it gives me some retrospect as to where I came from and the crappy content I made before, and how well of a job I do now. I use that term loosely. I think these they've evolved way more for me, and if you want to watch them for you, you know, something that I like to do is when someone posts something every Friday or something like that, you get to look towards that every Friday and watch that. So thank you for being here. Appreciate you watching my vlog. I forget how far we've come with this house. Let me turn some lights on here so it's not so bad. Lighting down here is not that great, but we still have old carpet in this room. We took the couches from upstairs, downstairs, and downstairs, upstairs, painted this gray. This still needs a lot of work, but this has come a long way since the vlogs I watched last night. This room has come a long way since the vlogs I watched last night. I got my mud done, etc., or someone did it. Put that vent in. That's a different door. I've got trim in. That trim is old and has to go on that door. I'll get to that. Maybe today. I might do that today. I don't know. But today is the 5th of July. My mom has Graham, my wife, and my sister went to Target. So I've got a couple hours to get some work done. I'll probably, like I said, work on that box. But just like I said, watching those vlogs made me think and remember of how far we've come on this house. And I still have trim to do on this window. There's a lot of stuff that still needs to be done, but that's everyone's house. I hear that all the time out of people, like, you know, oh, it's not finished. Your house is never finished. You finish a few rooms. Molly, come on. You finish a few rooms and then you get to where you think it's livable, etc. So I have to hang some clothes or bed sheets out on the line, and then we will get back to that box. I just want to say thank you again for everything you guys do as far as watching my videos, yada yada. I know I blabber on about that a lot, but I appreciate it. I really do. I know this video, sorry for the dirty window, this video is the one right after I tore out all that stuff maybe 2 weeks ago or last week. I will be getting a concrete slab poured in here, so that will be very, very nice when the time comes getting that in. And I will try to film all that. I will not be doing that. I'll be paying someone to do it because they will do a way better job than I will. But let's go hang some clothes out, get to that box. So I went through, sanded everything with 40 grit, and then got that varnish that's on there off. And then I went through and sanded everything with 120 grit. I skipped the 80 grit. I got it pretty good with the 40 grit. The 120 grit smoothed it out enough for me to where I felt like I didn't need the 80. I probably should have done the 80 grit and then the 120, but with the short amount of time I have, I did what I could. Okay, so I'm using a Maverick Provincial. I use Provincial on everything in my house pretty much. I just like the dark tones that come out. There's a black that comes out with like a less walnutty color. I don't know. So Provincial on the outside, black paint on the inside. That's what we're gonna do here. So let's get started. Burr says we're leaving the inside how it is. It's pretty close to the stain color that I put on it, which seems like a whole lot of work just to put a different stain color. It's a bit darker, the Provincial that I put on there. So I've got it all stained up, ready to go. I'm going to put some clear coat on here, a Minwax polyacrylic. I prefer a polyacrylic over a polyurethane. It gives it that kind of hardened, smooth feel. And then I'll sand over the polyacrylic gently with a 220 grit sandpaper, and this project will be done. All right, I hit it with one coat of polyacrylic, sanded the top with 320. I actually hit the top with 2 coats. polyacrylic. I do like to put probably two coats on stuff that you're gonna set something down on, or you know what I mean, something to just really secure the top so it's not being beaten and abused. Yeah, I think this, so long story short, this is my mother's, or maybe my grandpa built this or bought this or whatever. And Burr wanted to keep it for Graham's toys. So that's the plan. But that's it. Perfect. Beautiful. Wonderful. I'm happy with it. It probably would have been less work just to make a new one. But knowing that my mom had this and it could have been my grandfather's makes it that much more special. So with that being said, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you being here, supporting me, what I do every single day. And I'll do my best to continue to make videos like this. It's a lot harder nowadays. I know you guys have probably seen a bunch of gaming videos. I was getting harassed at work the other day from, not harassed, but I was getting pestered the other day when I'm going to make new videos on woodworking stuff. That's as close as I can do at the moment, but we will be building stuff, I promise. Just gotta let Graham grow a little bit more so he can help me in the shop and record stuff. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next vlog.